Now that games are finally starting to release, now that Animal Crossing New Horizons is right over the horizon, I feel like I can get back to being the father I want to be. Not for any real human babies, but instead the father of my Switch, gifting this glorious system with all the accessories it needs. So today we're talking about my favorite accessories in 2020. The year has just begun, but my Switch needs a lot of goodies in terms of cases, grips, memory cards, controllers, and more. So we're going to go over what I'm using currently right now in 2020. I'll put links to everything in the description below if you want to grab them for yourself. We'll go over pricing, why it's good, why it might have some shortcomings, and you guys can let me know your favorite Switch accessories of 2020 right now in the comments down below, and anything maybe you're super looking forward to. I know there's a new Master Ball controller that looks really, really hot. And if you guys have fun with me going through my favorites and the best accessories for Switch and Switch Lite in 2020, leave a like. I'd super appreciate it. It does help out a lot. Let's kick it off with the OG Switch, the one I leave docked, used for TV play and recording. This is a V1 Switch, $300. I didn't see the need to upgrade to a V2. Dropping a full $300 on a tiny upgrade didn't seem worth it to me, so I rock the OG Switch. This is my launch day Switch, still running strong, although the battery life sometimes does worry me with how much it retains. Anyhow, I'm using the orange and purple Joy-Con. This is my pair of choice for 2020. There's just something wonderful about them. I think I like that the orange is wild and the purple is a little more subdued. It's a great combo. These released last fall. They're $80, still very expensive. And honestly, I've used them ever since they released. It's my favorite pair, and I don't see that changing until that Animal Crossing Switch releases, because I love those pastel Joy-Con. I haven't decided if I'm going to get them, but you guys know I love Joy-Con, so it might be inevitable. I'm very curious to see what else Nintendo releases in 2020 Joy-Con, but for now, it's the orange and purple and the OG Switch with the Smash Bros. Ultimate dock. This is the dock that I use for recording. I don't have any custom painted docks or anything like that. Do love the Animal Crossing dock. You're going to sense a theme here. I really like the Animal Crossing Switch. I'm trying to convince myself not to get it, but I really like it. Anyhow, this is the dock I use. But honestly, where I spend most of my Switch gaming time is on my Zacian Zamazenta Switch Lite. $200. This was released right before Pokemon Sword and Shield. I love it. Not so much for the Zacian and Zamazenta on the back, but more the button color scheme on the front and the nice gray Switch Lite. I love this thing. I play it on the plane, I play it at home, I play it in bed, and I've really started to use the capture feature to allow me to record important moments of games so I don't feel tied to the TV, tied to the dock. I love the Switch Lite. It is my preferred way to play, and that's pretty cool. Luckily, there are a lot of really nice things that I can baby my Switch Lite with. Just charm it, wow it, woo it, and keep it safe, because that's important. I'm taking this thing everywhere with me. But before we get to those cases and controllers, I do want to point out my memory card. I'm using a SanDisk Ultra 128 gig micro SD. These guys are $19.99, almost always on Amazon. You can get a 256 card for about $35. Just depends how many games you plan on buying, how many games you plan on downloading. 128 works really well. I do have to delete stuff from time to time, but I've amassed a pretty big library over the last 3 years. Now, cases is where it gets kind of fun for me, because I do take my Switch out a lot, and I like to kind of show off in style. So this is the water-filled slipcase for Switch Lite, and this one is $60. It's a premium case. I'm actually going to do a full review on these guys because I have a lot of thoughts, but it's a nifty case. It is pricey. It's very slim. This fits into any backpack, any sort of other carrying case that you might be taking and traveling. I like that. It's soft, it's padded, it's not rigid, so it has some flexibility, and there are little pockets inside for your games or control, extra controller, maybe like an extra Joy-Con, some headphones. I've got Splatoon 2 deep in there. You probably can't see it. Oh, there it is, little cartridge. Maybe not the best way to transport games, but this material is so heavenly. Dude, I know the Switch Lite loves it. You fit it in here. Look at that. It just slips in. Nice pouch. Barely any thickness in terms of the profile. It's really great. But if you don't want to drop $60, if that seems like a lot, this Orzly case actually served my Switch Lite really well in the early days of its release. Back in September, this is what I traveled with, and it's very nice. This honestly is a more fully featured case, and it's $15. I got turquoise because initially I had the turquoise Switch Lite, you guys know. It comes in yellow and gray, I believe. And it has extra pockets, zipper pouches. It's got a game cartridge slot, which I always love. Holds the Switch Lite. There's decent padding. It may not be premium, but it does work very well. And if you want a cheap option, like it has over 1,000 5-star reviews on Amazon. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description. It's pretty fantastic, and it works pretty nice. Like I'll show it to you. I'm putting it in here right now. I don't know how I feel about these little straps. They're kind of makes me think of like a backpack, but it holds nicely. It's not going to get damaged. It is a very protective case. A lot of padding, a lot of squish here. It's obviously thicker than this slipcase, you know, but if you don't really mind that, it's got a nice little handle for you. And again, it's a quarter of the price. So it's really not a bad deal in any way. In fact, it's a fantastic deal. And if you're looking for a cheap Switch Lite case in 2020, that's the one I would recommend. Now, before we get to the grips and the armors, which is honestly the part of this video I'm most looking forward to, I will give a shout out to my Switch case. This is another water-filled case. It is another pretty premium case, but again, I gotta take good care of this stuff. I can't have it be breaking. I can't have it be falling out. This one is sort of a top-tier model. Their biggest, well, not their biggest, but to me it's their best case. And it holds your games in the front. It's got these nice snaps to hold this leather flap, and then inside you got multiple pockets to hold your goodies. Can hold some extra Joy-Con, can hold some headphones, can hold some games, and again, really excellent padding to care for your console in the best way possible. But here we go, my favorite part. This is what I've been waiting for: the armors and the grips. Oh, this is what makes Switch Lite so good, because yeah, Switch Lite feels great like this. It honestly does. But here's where it gets awesome. So the Skull & Co. Grip Case Lite is fantastic. I love this thing. It's only 19 bucks on Amazon. It may look a little flimsy, but honestly, the squish is part of the appeal. It's got these really nice squishy triggers. I like that a lot. I eat them up. Let's put the Switch Lite in so you can see. Obviously, I got it to match. It's got these little grips on the back that kind of make you feel like you're holding like a big controller. You slide it in here, push it in, and it adds a little bit of extra whip, obviously, to the Switch Lite, but I think it's so much better to hold. Your hands are in an excellent position, if I can show you here, to use both the sticks, use the buttons, and I love the feel of the squishy triggers. You can see you got these squish triggers in here, and it's really nice. It does come with some replaceable grips. If you don't like this form factor as much, it can get a little bit less wide, but honestly, I like it. It keeps my hands spaced out, and if you have bigger hands, I'm lucky for Switch Lite users that I have small hands. But if you've got bigger hands, this will help spread them out, keep them spaced, and then you can play Switch like this. It's very comfortable. These grips are very high quality, and I honestly love the squishy plastic nature of this grip. I think it enhances the triggers, and I think it feels nice on the back of the Switch. Gives it a little extra layer too if you were to drop it, or if, you know, someone sneezes on it or something, you wouldn't have to worry about ruining your Switch Lite. You can just wipe off your little Skull & Co. grip. But if you don't want the extra form factor, the extra girth, the extra width, you don't want those grips, I also really like the Hori armor. This is an armor for the Switch Lite. This one is $20, so basically the same price, $1 more on Amazon. So you slide this on, and it's the same general idea of protecting the Switch Lite and giving you a little bit of extra grip and a place to hold, but at a much slimmer form factor. So if you don't want the Switch Lite to expand in size, if you don't want to have to carry something, like this guy is great, but it doesn't fit in my case. The armor will still be able to fit into any slim case because it's such a slim armor, but it does give you some extra bumper here to hold and better grip the Switch Lite. It adds sort of in this way to the profile, so your hands sit a little bit nicer. Now, they are going to still be pretty close to the screen. It's not going to space them out like the Skull & Co., but it's a quality solid grip from Hori. I like that it is see-through on the back, so I can see my system. It comes in different colors. I got the gray because the see-through nature in the gray I thought worked really well. As you can see, it's not modifying the triggers or covering anything in any way. It is covering the volume buttons and the power button up here, but everything else is fully exposed. So if you prefer the way that the Switch Lite comes and you don't want to have something that is going to cover your LR, ZL, ZR buttons, and you don't want it to get wider, this is fantastic. I used this probably for the first 3 months of Switch Lite, and then in the new year, I switched over to this Skull & Co., and now this is what I've been rocking. But they're kind of two things that both provide protection, a bit of a bumper. One is just bigger, and one is slimmer, so that's going to be your call. Now, extra controllers don't matter as much for the Switch Lite, because I've been using the Switch Lite just as a Switch Lite, my portable machine. But when I do dock, when I do play with family and friends, when I do record on the TV, on the monitor, on the setup, I do have some favorite extra controllers. My ultimate favorite is my Pro Controller from Colorware. Now, again, this is a premium design, I guess, but I like to spoil my Switch. So it is a Mario-themed Pro Controller that I picked. Very simple color scheme, but I really liked it. I got this from Colorware, and you know, it is premium and pricey to pay to have it custom painted. So if you don't want to do that, you can just get one of the normal Pro Controllers, or a Pro Controller. If you can find one like this, the Splatoon 2, there's the Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You can get another Pro Controller. These guys run you $70. Expensive, but it's my favorite way to play if I'm not holding the Switch directly. It is my favorite way to play, and it works best, I think, for any type of game. Yes, there are cheaper alternatives, and we'll get to some, but this guy is going to work great for 3D games, for 2D games, for new games, for classic games. If you don't have the budget for a Pro Controller, and I understand because it's pricey after a Switch. $200 for the Lite, $300 for the Switch, and then you need to grab a $70 Pro. I really have been liking this Face-Off Deluxe controller. Now, there is a wire, and that's going to weird some people out and frustrate some people. I understand that, but when I'm playing docked, I don't care because I'm sitting pretty close. I know if you've got a big living room and a couch, this might get annoying, but honestly, it's a pretty long wire. I mean, I can kind of pick it up, and you can see there's a lot of wire action going on here. This controller is only $25, and it doesn't feel as great as a Pro Controller, but honestly, it's close enough. It's $25, and it has some nice features. It has a little chat attachment if you do voice chat. I don't do voice chat, but if you do, you can. It's got these programmable back buttons. So you got these little back buttons right here, which actually feel really nice on your middle finger. They're excellent to use. You can program them to replace a different button or to duplicate a button if you want. So like if you wanted to have jump on one of these, or you wanted to have fire on one of these, or grenade, or some extra button that you didn't want to have to use your fingers, your pointer fingers up here, put them on your middle finger. And I like that. I guess I just like that for $25, it's not bare bones. Like, it provides chat, it provides customizable back paddles, and you also can pop the face off. I'm going to show you guys here. You can pop this face off and change it out. So if you do buy more, or you see something you like, you can pop the face off, change out the color, and then replace this faceplate to modify your controller. And maybe that's a great way if you do want to like switch it up. You get this controller for $25, you can get some faceplates down the line, feel like you have a different controller, even though it's the same, and it is $50 cheaper than the Pro Controller. I don't like the buttons as much as the Pro Controller. Don't feel as good, the stick doesn't feel as good, but it's close. It's honestly close enough. And so, while this is my top pick, Face-Off Deluxe works well. Now, if you're a really hardcore old school gamer, you like 2D pixel art side scrollers, or you like messing a lot with the NES and SNES collections on Nintendo Switch Online, then the 8BitDo SNES 30 Pro Plus is a really nice controller. It is a really nice controller, but I don't like it for my modern 3D games. I don't like it as much for Odyssey. I don't like it as much for Luigi's Mansion. I like it for when I can use the D-pad. I like it for the buttons that feel so nice. They've got the nice concave buttons here and the normal buttons. It feels so good. The buttons are premium, much better quality buttons than that Face-Off Deluxe. But since I'm only using it for classic games, it's coming in at a $50 price point, and to me, you could probably use your money elsewhere, at least for me, unless you're a dedicated hardcore gamer of old school games. If you're like that nostalgic SNES, NES, you're going to just play Celeste and Kunai, and you're going to play Axiom Verge, you're going to play Mario World, then maybe this is right for you because you're going to spend so much time using that D-pad that you want an awesome to your D-pad and awesome to your buttons. They do have a cheaper version of this that gets rid of the analog and is just the D-pad, so you could get that. I think it's around $30, $35, saving some money, but honestly, for my money, if you're not going to splurge and get a Pro Controller, I would say this Face-Off is a really good bet. I was shocked. I didn't expect to like it, but I've been using it a lot in 2020, and it's really impressed me. So there you have it. Those are my favorites in 2020. That is what I'm using. Those are the gifts I've been given to my systems. Playing a lot of Switch Lite with this Skull & Co. grip. Playing a lot of docked OG Switch with my my Mario Colorware Pro Controller. And then you got the options with the more premium case that I do love. But this Orzly case, man, for $15, it does a lot and will cover your system. Now, I haven't been taking my regular Switch out on the go very much. We'll see how that changes and evolves through 2020 based on the games that are released, how I want to play Animal Crossing New Horizons, whatever else they put out. Is there anything you're looking forward to? Any super cool controllers? Obviously, we've got the darned awesome Animal Crossing edition coming out that I can't wait for. Gonna try to not buy because wallet is tight right now, but it's so tempting, as I'm sure you know. And then there's the Coral Switch Lite, which I'm looking forward to as well, but I promised myself not to buy that one. I'm leaving Animal Crossing like It's a possibility. We'll see. We'll see when March 13th rolls around. But the Coral, I'm saying no. I'm saying no, even though it's pretty. I'm saying no, because I'd rather save that money for games or maybe a different controller that comes out and kind of changes things up. I think I'm set with grips. I don't expect to need anything new there, and I think I'm set with cases. So we're going to do a deep dive into those cases a little bit later. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what your picks are in the comments down below, and if you want to grab any of these, I got links in the description. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Thanks for being a part of this. Switch, baby. The games are coming, the year is getting better, and now we can just enjoy and play our freaking favorite system. So you guys are my favorites. Have a fantastic day. Be good to yourself and others out there. Until next time, Switch Force out.